Hello, my name is Jeff Warrender, and along with my co-designer Steve Sisk, I am the creator of Lost Adventures, which is an adventure archaeology movie in tabletop form for 2 to 5 players, lasts about 75 to 90 minutes. And the most important thing to know about Lost Adventures is that this is a game that calls for bold play, but the line between bold and reckless can be blurry. And so in game terms, that means that this is a game of risk assessment and dynamic balance, and I'll talk more about that. But these skills are tested explicitly in the context of the Lost Temple, which is made up of these cards here. And there's a track that players are going to progress across, and making it the furthest across the track at game's end signifies having made the most progress towards retrieving the lost artifact, and that player is the winner. However, it is possible to die prematurely through having your face melt off, and obviously one tries to avoid this kind of thing. Now, like a good adventure archaeology movie, our action begins with a map phase where players are traveling around to various cities outside the temple to acquire information about the Lost Temple, its whereabouts, its contents, and so on. In that phase, you're going to make use of your up to six adventure cards, which represent your key attributes and gear and that sort of thing. And you're going to get 6 turns, and each turn is going to follow a simple 4-step sequence. First, you're going to travel to a different city. Then, depending on your adventure cards, you're going to roll some dice, and the results are going to give you some successes that authorize you to get information. However, they're also going to move the enemy closer to you, so it adds a nice suspenseful element. The third thing you do is, based on how many successes you achieved in your die rolling, you get to look at Temple Secrets cards to get information about the Lost Temple. And then the final step is to grab an additional adventure card to improve your character for the temple. Now, after the map phase, players enter the Lost Temple. And in our conception of the theme, and kind of distinct from other games in this genre, it's not a 2D loot the temple exploration phase, rather it's a jockeying for position phase. So we've all arrived at the temple at the same time, and we're fighting over who's going to get through it first, who crosses the rope bridge first or whatever. And we do this in the form of a series of bids that feature a novel draft bid hybrid system using these penalty cards. And the idea is we're going to flip a few of these, and then in reverse order, we're going to claim them and put some cubes on the one that we claim. And these cards represent, in a sense, the flavor of poison you're willing to drink and how much of it you're willing to drink. Then the nature of the peril will be revealed. And maybe it's something like, deadly asps or, swinging blades or something like that. And we compare our adventure cards to that peril, and ones that match up give us some additional investment on top of our bid. And so putting those things together, whoever has the highest total bid gets to move the furthest. And so you can see that preparation and knowledge are important, but also so is boldness and being willing to take some risks. Now, in these films, the protagonist does not actually retrieve the artifact. In fact, the enemy swoops in, steals it, but is undone by their own hubris in the end. And we thought, why let the enemy have all of the fun? So in our game, after we reach the end of the temple, we face the final hubris challenge. And this is where the bill for the poison that you drank comes due. And in this system, there's a simple die rolling resolution that basically rhymes with the die rolling of the map phase. But it creates a situation of dynamic balance because in this phase you're trying to purge yourself of hubris. However, you've also probably acquired some curses along the way, and these are going to sap your vitality. So how much hubris can you take on? And how many curses can you afford to take? And how many of these green cubes you need to acquire to purge the hubris that you've acquired? These calculations aren't entirely easy to figure out. And on top of the difficulty mathematically of figuring out exactly what is the best play, you're constantly pulled to push a little harder because you do want to get ahead of your opponents. So you can convince yourself very easily that you need to take on more risk, and yes, everything's going to be fine in the end, but then, of course, too much risk results in failing to purge your hubris, and that means your face has melted off. but then not enough risk, and someone else may outpace you and you lose. So the result of all this is an exhilarating game. It plays in about 75 minutes or so, and it presents decisions that are agonizing, and it's built for close endings and outcomes that are suspenseful until the very last roll. So we're very proud of the way that our game combines novel mechanics, and we think it successfully evokes the theme and atmosphere of these films, but that it also creates a challenging and suspenseful game. So we hope you'll be interested in hearing more about it. Thanks.